This is Diane Williams, and welcome to the Crafty View. I'm here to talk about some of the craftspeople that are out here demonstrating today. So today I'll be interviewing, we'll go around and see who's here and what they're doing and learn all about their work. Okay, I'm over here with Katie Clark, and she crochets and knits, a girl after my own heart. I crochet and knit as well since I was 12 years old. And I wonder Katie, how long have you been doing this?
Over 30 years.
Over 30 years. I can tell. And there's a picture of Katie showing off this beautiful shawl, you all. Look at the intricacy, and the color choices she's made are my favorite colors. And don't you love these little mittens with the fingers out? That's what we need in Mississippi.
Yes.
And there's some little socks for the little ones. And if you want to know how to get in touch with Katie, this is her information right here. Katie Clark Crochet at gmail.com. And now let's look at the intricacy of this. Now, do you you create your own patterns, or you just look at things and say, oh, I could do this or that? How do you come about a design like this?
I do make my own patterns. This pattern was designed for a class that I teach where you look at geometry and architecture and inspiration from quilts or other geometric sources, and see how the shapes fit together to make a solid flat piece. And that's called tessellation. So you can see the octagon here.
Yeah, notice the octagon throughout, and then you got
fits with a square around it to make a flat design. And I actually looked at tile to figure out how to piece this together.
Oh. And you know, the question that a person would have is, we see the yarn in the store, and we know that when we start working with some yarn, it may come to an end, and then we have to figure out what to do with the end of that. I don't see any ends.
They're
I know.
all on the back, and they're tucked in. Like you can see how they come out just a little bit right here, but we hide them as well as we can, and then anything that sticks out comes out the back.
Well, the back is beautiful as well. I love the design on the back.
It's fun.
Yes.
And then these two pieces over here and the shawl that you were looking at before were designed specifically in collaboration with Genflux Fibers, who's also here.
They're back there. I'm going to go over there soon.
They dye their own yarn. They have a wonderful palette of yarns. And she asks me to design crochet pieces to go with her yarn. So these were specifically designed with her yarn in mind, but you can use anything.
So what you have is artists working with artists, and they're of an asset and a benefit to one another. One makes and dyes I don't know if they make the yarn. Do they make their yarn as well?
They get yarn blanks, which means it's just white yarn.
Just white yarn, and then they do the dyeing, which is an art within itself. And I love these hats with the little fluffy pom-pom on.
Fur poms are all the rage right now.
They are. Look at that. Yeah, I recently bought a hat from Barbara Dearman Mercier for my little new grandbaby.
Very good.
You know, you gotta do that, you all. You gotta do that. I mean, handmade. My little grandbaby was so cute, people were blubbering when they looked at him with his hat on. You've got to do that. So look at these socks.
Yes, and this pattern I have written for everyone from baby to men's sizes. So this pattern is free on my website right now.
And your website is?
KatieClarkCrochet.com.
Oh, good. And she gives away free patterns. That is fabulous. So, and tell me, this is a glove with your fingers out as well.
Yes, this is another one of these. So
In a
I've
larger
got several
size.
size going, and you can see I start with the main part of the knit and add trim, and then I'm working on the heart. Where it goes?
Is that what you're working on now?
The heart right now to go on there.
That's great. Now, you create your own patterns, but have you ever seen something you really liked and you said, I'm going to try to make that? And yeah, I like looking at patterns, and I'll tell you a secret. I don't know if you know this or not, but our potters love us. Do you know that? That the potter loves the designs embedded in the knit and crochet, mostly crochet, and they use those patterns in their pottery.
Cool.
So don't throw any
Awesome.
pieces away. You know, people like Pick and Pull Pottery, and
I'm gonna have to go see how he uses that.
there's another avenue for us to interact with one another as artists and craftspeople.
Never thought about that.
Isn't that something? Yeah, so that's great. I thought I was going to do some dyeing at one time, and I got all the supplies, and I didn't have them labeled, so I don't know what I have. And that's why it's good to just support local artists, you know? Don't try to do it yourself, unless you want to learn and become a professional like Katie. Katie, and let's see, you've been a member since 2013, and you said you've been doing this for 30 years. And have you taught others? You make your own patterns. Do you do little booklets and things?
I've taught classes since 2009. I started teaching classes.
Okay.
So, you can reach me on the website if you want to learn how to knit or crochet.
Okay.
That's katieclarkcrochet.com. My contact information is there.
Oh, wonderful.
So you can get a private lesson. And, with COVID, the classes have been touch and go. So when everything settles down, I'll be doing classes over here again.
Yeah, because I'm always hearing people say they want to learn. I don't teach anything like this because there's this issue of right hand, left hand. And I'm not into that.
I had to learn how to knit and crochet left-handed as well.
You did?
I'm not good at it. I'm not fast at it. Because it can make a difference in a pattern, I usually teach people to crochet right-handed, but if they just can't, there's no reason to, fight so hard. So
okay.
I teach left-handers how to crochet as well, and both of my daughters.
What has been your most favorite item to create?
Oh my goodness.
Name them all.
I really like to do the shawls because I love geometry. And with the shawls, I don't know if you can see all this. This is just a regular triangle, but you can get lots of different shapes of different shawls. This one is long and skinny, but it still has a little bit of a shape to it there. And I can incorporate all these different textures and designs in the shawl as I make it. And so I just love exploring the texture and the geometry and the colors.
And, I know a shawl is a shawl. But but what about prayer shawls?
Any shawl can really
Can be used as a prayer shawl. Yeah.
It's, you can just pray as you stitch, and an easier pattern is good for that. Something where you can just let your mind wander and your heart wander. So.
That is so important during this time. People are wondering what to do during a pandemic, or they're getting depressed and different things like that. And crocheting and knitting during times like this really are uplifting. There are times to pray. There are times to meditate, to think about different things. And they make great gifts, you all, for people who are maybe bedridden, sick, in the hospital. And then you can hand them a prayer shawl and say, I want you to know I'm praying for you. So think about that. When you come over to the Craft Center, you could get a shawl and share it with someone. Thank you so much, Katie.